Okay, hi everyone. I want to present a new video from runhorse.com sports, and it's going to be 5 secret tips that most slot players don't know about. And I'm very excited to present this video. I want to get right into the tips. We've talked to a lot of slot managers, people that worked in the casino that know it, and some insiders, and we've gotten this information and we want to share it with you now. Okay, let's get into the tips. And tip number 1 is look for machines that are new in the casino. And this is an interesting tip because a lot of the slot managers that we talk to say that the new machines in the casino will pay out at a higher percentage than the machines that have been there for a while. And let me explain this to you. The casinos want to promote those new machines, so whatever machine is new, they generally have a higher payout ratio on the machines are set to pay when they're new. So you have a little bit increased odds of winning. Now, it's no guarantee in this, but those newer machines are generally, a lot of people want to play those new machines. First of all, they might be interesting and they also attract a lot of players, but they also have a higher probability of paying out when they're new. Usually the first month or two is what we've been told. They will pay at a higher ratio, and it could even be 6 months or so, depending on the casino. And then they will start to lower the payouts. So that's a good tip, and that's a secret tip. That's tip number 1. Okay, let's get into secret tip number 2, and that's to try to change your betting amounts. And let's talk about this one. You want to sometimes fluctuate those bet amounts. I've noticed that. Okay, let me explain this to you. Say a minimum bet, that's what I like to play with a lot. I like to start with that. Could be 25 cents, could be 45 cents on a machine. I'll play that minimum bet for a while. If it's not hitting, sometimes I'll raise it up. I'll try to play maybe the next amount up, the 90-cent bet. For example, if it's a 45-cent machine, I'll go to 90 cents. I'll play that a little while. And if it doesn't hit, maybe I'll even go up to a little higher amount, and then I'll lower it back down. I'll try that. I'll fluctuate the bets. And at times this will really pay off. I've seen a machine that's 45 cents, it's just not paying, it's not paying. All of a sudden I'll move up to that higher threshold, the higher payout. I don't like to go real high on these bets. I like to keep them around $2 or less because it gets expensive if you play that high amount, the top amount on the machine. So I'll fluctuate. Sometimes I'll go up to 90 cents. I'll go up to $1.50, wherever that range is, $1.25, $2.25, sometimes at the maximum amount. And I'll play a couple pulls there, and sometimes it'll pay off. Sometimes it'll hit right away. You move up to that $2.25, and boom, you'll get a good hit. You'll get a bonus even, and that's what we're always looking for. So it seems that those fluctuations sometimes will pay. Sometimes the machine is paying on that higher amount, and sometimes it's paying on that lower amount. So if it's paying on that lower amount, and it's paying there, I would just stick with that until it stops. Why get greedy and go up to that higher amount? So it's something you want to keep in mind. Now, if you are playing that higher amount, $1.50, say a pull, and it's not paying, you might want to try to lower the amount. There's times that I've seen that work as well. After you've put in $50, $100 into a machine, sometimes you'll go to a lower amount and it'll hit on that bonus, and it'll give you some of your money back. So it just doesn't want to pay on that higher amount. There's some days I've seen that on a machine, and it's just weird how that works. And so that's a secret tip. That's secret tip number 2. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, moving right along here, we'll go to secret tip number 3, and this is what I like to call the last coin phenomenon. And let's explain that to you. If you think about this, how many times have you been playing in the casino where you're down and you've gotten a real good hit, all of a sudden you're almost out of money, and all of a sudden, boom, the machine gives you a nice hit, keeps you playing. Okay, how does this work? We've noticed this a lot, and we've talked to a lot of people, and they all have stories like this. I'm sure you have your own experience if you played slots, or you've definitely heard about this. I like to call this the last coin phenomenon. And it seems to us that the machines are programmed in a way that when you get down, when you say you've put in $50 into the machine or $20, when you get down toward that very last amount, when you're almost out of money, the machine will give you a higher odds of hitting. I don't know why that is, but that seems to be the case almost every time. I've talked to a lot of people, they've lost $300, $400, $500 in a machine. All of a sudden they get down to that last $5. They get down to near that last, where they're almost out of money, and boom, they'll hit something and they'll Sometimes they'll even get close to even, recoup, or even a little bit ahead. And I believe the machines are designed like this because it makes sense. If you've lost a lot of money in the machine, they like to let you get, close to even maybe. That's what they're gonna do, or maybe get a little bit ahead and then they'll start taking it back slowly. And that's how these machines work a lot of times. So what I like to do is I like to put in, I don't like to play with those high denomination bills. I usually don't have good success with those. I like to put in $10 bills, $20 bills into the machine, and I like to play it down to the lowest amount. And sometimes I will strike on those late amounts. Now, sometimes it works in the reverse. Sometimes it pays quickly the machine when you put in a new 20 or a new 10. Sometimes I'll just put a 5 in the machine. There's no reason that you can't feed it $5 bills. It accepts those just as well as the higher amounts. And you can go from machine to machine with 5 or 10, play it down. Even if I want to bet, sometimes I bet $1 a pull and I put in 5 and I got down to $1 and I had a nice hit. Sometimes $100, $150, $200 hit on a $5 bill. So you don't have to put $50, $100 bills in the machine. It seems to me like the machine, whatever you put into it, it's programmed to take most of your money, to be honest with you, most of the time. So feed it small and let it work its way down. And a lot of times you'll see, you've probably experienced that if you think about it, that last coin phenomenon that I'm talking about, where you get a big hit when you're almost out of money. So that's something to think about, and that's secret tip number 3.
Wow. 50% bet.
Okay, let's move into secret tip number 4, and that's what we like to say. We like to call this starting small and betting up from there, okay? So start with a small bet amount. That's almost always how I attack a machine. I go in there playing the minimum amount with the second lowest amount, and I will go ahead and I will try to see if the machine is gonna pay, and I'll get a feel for the machine. I don't wanna jump in there. I know some people, they recommend these max bets. I'm not that kind of a player. We're talking about a normal audience here. We don't focus on millionaires in this channel. We focus on everyday slot players. So that's the kind of information. That's what 95% of the players are. So let's talk about that. We'll start with that small amount, play for a while. If the machine is hitting, you can always bet up. Okay, so that's the thing to think about. And I've actually heard people talk about this. Someone coined it tickling the machine. Makes sense. Tickle the machine and see if it's going to laugh for you or it's going to pay you. So tickle that machine, play a small bet amount. Play that low bet amount, 45 cents, somewhere in there, 25 cents, whatever the minimum is, 30, 60. Play for a little while. If it starts to hit and it starts to give you some profit, where you're up 10, 20, 30, $40, it might be time to raise up your bet amount. And I've seen this work really well for some guys. I've seen a guy I know that plays this strategy, and I've seen him win a lot of money starting with a small amount. It's really amazing. I've seen him put 10 or 20 into a machine, play small, get up to $40, $50, start raising the bet amount. He might go from 25 if the machine is hitting, goes all the way up to like $1. He thinks the machine is hot and it'll keep paying him, and he'll get up to $200, $300. I've seen it a few times. He's done this. It's really, really impressive because you got to think about it. That's a huge profit margin if you're only investing 20 and he's walking away with 3, 4. I've even seen him walk away with 500 one time. He got up to $1. He got a bonus. And he actually went up from there. He went up to almost a max bet. After the bonus was over, he had about 150. He played max bet, and I mean, he just kept paying him up to almost 400 or 500. Now you can't go crazy. You can't play forever. So he got up to about 400 or 500. I can't remember. Close to 500. Started to take his money, and then he cashed out wisely, and he moved on. And that's what you've got to do, ladies and gentlemen. You've got to take that profit, and you got to walk away with it. So this is secret tip number 4. Start with a small amount, and you can always bet up.
Wow. 50% bet.
Okay, let's go into the last tip here, and this is secret tip number 5. Okay, and this is what I'm going to tell you. If you want to look for a big, big hit, you want to win big, and you're a small player, this is a way to do it, okay? And you're not risking a lot of money. And follow this tip, and you will have some success at times, and you're going to end up with a big hit eventually. Okay. Now, if you've been winning the casino, if you had a good day, okay, let's say you're up $100 or more, I would consider that a good day because, again, we're talking to most smaller players. So if you made $100 or $200, you're doing pretty well, or you had a machine, you're up about 100, 150 on the machine, even if you've been playing small amounts, I recommend to try a few pulls on the machine at max bet. Okay, let's talk about this. If the machine is really hot, I've seen at times where you just walk in there, it's been paying, or it's been idle for a while, and you walk up there with a max bet and you do a couple pulls, and I've seen really good hits. I mean, you can win a lot of money on a max bet, but it's rare. So you've got to play it smart, and you don't know when it's going to pay. So you got to have that extra money. You can't go in there. You can lose a lot of money quickly. Okay, so this is caution. You can lose a lot of money quickly if you stay with max bets. So if I've made $100, $150, and there's a machine I like or it's been paying, I'll play a couple at max bet. And that's usually in the $2.50 to $5 range. I don't want to say go crazy. If the max bet is $20, okay, let's not talk about that. Let's stay away from that. But up to maybe $5, or some of these machines are even up to $8, $9 a pull. It seems pretty ridiculous to me on a penny machine. So I would try to stick to those ones max bet is like $5 maybe. And I would play a few pulls at $5, maybe put 20 in there, play 3 or 4 pulls at $5. And if you catch a bonus or you hit something nice, you can hit a big hit. It happened to me one time in the casino. I was playing a smaller amount. I wasn't winning. Hadn't hit the bonus in a while. I went up a little bit, didn't hit, so I played a couple pulls at $5, and I think it was the first or second pull, and I mean, the board lit up. I got about $400 out of it. I had a really good pull, and it wasn't even a bonus. It just had a lot of wilds show up on the screen. So this is the type of thing that you might see occasionally. But only do this when you are winning. You want to do this with the casino's money and not your own.